You are listening to Waywut. This is a rabbit hole podcast where we cover topics ranging from sports to true crime and pop culture to weird facts. Just a little bit of everything. Really, it's just a couple of guys taking turns to present weird topics to each other. We publish episodes weekly and truly appreciate you joining us. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's get this episode started. Here we go.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode where I, Jason, take us through customs and lead us to another topic that made me say, wait, what?
Why are we going through customs?
Joining me, as always, is a man who always asks for a cavity search, Darrell Holiday.
I have global entry, so I can get entered in any country. That's what global entry is really about.
No, you just get that priority cavity search.
Whenever we got back from Europe, that global entry, Denise didn't have hers on her. And so she went through regular, and I went through global entry, and she got through faster than me. I was so irritated.
Go figure. Well, I wanted to, since you are very recently come back from a 2-week European vacation,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be very nice to talk a little bit about travel.
Okay. I can talk about travel. I do that a lot.
Yeah, so I was hoping you can tell us a little bit about where you went.
This go around?
No, just briefly on where you went this past trip to Europe.
Dude, we went to 18 different cities. I went to 18 cities, 4 different countries.
You saw a lot. You've been around.
Yeah.
And not only have you been to those 18 cities in several countries, you've also been in the Philippines.
Right.
You've been to Australia.
Yeah.
You've been to Japan.
Yeah.
You've been to Wisconsin.
I have.
What I'm trying to say is when you have some good advice to give somebody if they were to travel, because you're well seasoned.
Okay.
Probably. And when somebody's about to tell you they're going on vacation, they're like, oh, where are you going? So people are always giving you tips on where to go. You got to go here. Oh, you're going to San Antonio? Oh, you got to go check out the boardwalk. You got to go eat here. You got to go do this, blah, blah, blah.
Did you mean to say Riverwalk, you fucking Yankee?
What did I say?
You said boardwalk.
Oh, yeah. I meant Riverwalk.
Oh. Yankee.
But they're always trying to tell you where to go, what to see, blah, blah, blah. I, on the other hand, will give you tips on where not to go. I'm not talking about traveling to North Korea or Venezuela or the Gaza Strip. I mean, those are pretty obvious right now. What I'm going to talk about are lesser known places that may sound tempting based on the name, but they should be avoided.
Okay, I'm down for this. I'm kind of curious if I've actually been to any of the ones that you're going to say. We'll see.
I honestly think you have not been to any of these places.
I know I haven't been anywhere in the African continent, or in South America. So if any of them are there, definitely not. But I mean, we'll see.
All right. Place number 1. It's called the North Sentinel Island.
Oh, I know this one.
All right. So I have a couple questions. I'm just going to say, so where is it? It is a part of the Andaman Islands. It's located in the Bay of Bengal. It's part of the Indian Union Territory. Who live there, you ask? Well, it's home to the Sentinelese, an indigenous tribe in voluntary isolation. The population was estimated in 2012 to be between 50 and 400 people. That's pretty hard to be certain due to their isolation. It sounds like they complete an annual census and turn it into their government, and they could keep an accurate count of how many people live there. So, what is the place like, you ask? Well, the island is about 5 miles long and 4.3 miles wide, with approximately 23 square miles. It's about the size of Manhattan.
Okay.
It is surrounded by coral reefs and lacks natural harbors. The entire island is basically a giant forest, except for the narrow white sand beach shore encircling the island. The island main source of food is Indian boar, coconut crabs, and sea turtles. Surf and turf, baby. Surf and turf. Now, So far, it sounds like a pretty nice place to go. So why should you stay away? Well, the Sentinelese want their isolation. The Andaman and Nicobar Island Protection of Aboriginal Tribe Regulations, holy shit, that was a mouthful, 1956, prohibits travel to the island and must stay no closer than 5 nautical miles away. If you get close, the Sentinelese have repeatedly attacked approaching vessels, whether their boats were intentionally visiting the island or simply ran aground on the surrounding coral reef. The Sentinelese have been observed shooting arrows at boats as well as low flying helicopters.
I was waiting for you to say that part because the pictures of them are like, ah!
And yeah, shooting their makeshift bow and arrows at helicopters. Yeah, I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Such attacks have resulted in injury and death. In 2006, islanders, the Sentinelese, killed 2 fishermen whose boat had just drifted ashore. And in 2018, an American Christian missionary, uh,
Get it right. He was a
John
Mormon.
Chau, was killed after he illegally attempted to make contact with the islanders 3 separate times and paid local fishermen to transport him to the island. Now,
Yep.
I want to put a pause on that for a second and talk about how the religion and Christians pushing their agenda as is their desire to make every Christian
Uh,
should supersede people's right to be left
I
alone.
am I am very well aware of this story in particular. Um, even his like people that were religious with him
Yeah.
were like, "What the hell are you doing? This is not smart." And he
No.
made sure to do it without a lot of them knowing. I mean, and it was bordering on suicide. Like he left letters to his family in case like he was not able to reach these people with God, which it was like he was not all there. Uh, on
Oh.
top of that, like he met with them like twice on that, and those 2 times, and they would get like kind of aggressive with him, and like
And
it
didn't learn
fucked
his
him with it.
lesson and kept
Yeah,
trying to come back and push his agenda. And the more I read about it, I'm like, it's it pisses me off. I mean, like you said it in a previous episode, yeah, he got killed, but do you really feel sorry for him
no, I
getting
don't.
killed because he put himself in that
Well,
situation?
not just that. I mean, the thing that really upsets a lot of people on that is he didn't. It wasn't just that he put himself in that position to get killed. He put those people in danger. They've been in isolation
Yes.
on that island for like 200 years, I think.
Yeah, and they're living just fine without
Well,
Christianity. So
no, it
why
isn't
does he
that.
think he could come?
I mean, their immune systems probably can't handle anything that's outside of that island.
Of
And
course,
so you
absolutely.
you run you run the risk of like, get wiping out this island just because you cough. And that's one of the main reasons why India is trying to keep everybody away from there, um, is because they don't want them like dying from diseases, and the fact that they're kind of assholes and want to murder anybody that touches that island.
Yeah, I just like you said, he's went there 2 prior times. He knew that he was pushing his luck, and yet he
He,
kept coming back.
I mean, whenever you hear his letters and stuff, he's not one of those like he's not douchey about it. I think he was just a little too into it. It's one of those things where he wanted to do something special, and he wanted to like
Hmm. Make a name for himself.
no, not like that. No, it wasn't so much of an ego thing. It's just
Why was he filming then?
I don't remember him filming.
Well, I've seen videos of him on a boat, like on his
Oh,
way to the
I don't know.
place.
He was. I mean, I don't know. With the thing I was watching on him, it's the other day. It was kind of like, ugh. I mean, he. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel sorry for the guy. I don't.
No.
He was an idiot. You're just like, it's like, well, I want to climb in the cage with this lion because it wants to be pet. I can tell.
Yeah.
It's just he
You
was kind of
should,
dumb.
you should just let me because I want to. Yeah. And like you alluded to, too, the Indian government is trying to help protect them. But if you do happen to get killed there, they will not prosecute the Sentinelese for
No,
killing people in the event they get too close.
no, they have no. I mean that they have no reason to. I mean that's what. I mean these people are. They're primitive. They're primitive people,
Yeah,
and they act like primitive people do. It's like, oh,
yeah.
man, you know. So
So
that's
if
what's
you're
going to
interested
happen.
in North Sentinel Island, don't
Don't.
go.
I
Yeah, don't
mean,
go. Look it up on YouTube. See what it looks like and
I mean,
whatever. But
if you want a suicide by native tribe, I mean, I guess you can. You know, it's like, but I mean, they aren't cannibals, so they're not going to eat you or nothing. So you're
no,
not really. You're really just putting them out. I mean, if
yeah,
you thought you were going to die and like feed a family, no.
no, they don't
You
need
know,
you. They've been living around isolation for hundreds of years.
yeah,
They
you're
don't
gonna have to
need
find. You're gonna have
somebody
to
there.
find another tribe somewhere else that'll eat you.
All right, town number 2. It's Dudleytown.
Dudleytown,
Dudleytown.
like the Dudley Boys.
Well, well, who lived there? Well, it's not Devon and Bubba Ray. Nope. In fact, it's a ghost town. It has been owned by the Dark Entry Forest Incorporated since 1924 and has been closed to the public. It's located as it's actually a part of the larger township of Cornwall, located in a valley better known as the Dark Entry Forest in northwestern Connecticut. So, what is this place like, you ask?
Oh, okay.
Well, there are barely any traces of the original village settlement remains. A few dilapidated buildings and stone walls are all that's left. The soil is rocky, high density forestry, and mountains surround it. It is basically a dark shadow filled valley. Just sounds like a wonderful, wonderful place. It is also a great distance to clean drinking water. Now, I know after these descriptions, you're just dying to get to this place. Well, it sounds like a nirvana,
A lot of
but
people are.
yeah, but just in case, let me tell you why you should stay away. First off, if anyone is found trespassing, the Connecticut State Police and the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, man, I need to shorten those names up a little bit. I think they would go by acronyms or something.
You could have just made your own.
I could have. It's fun making acronyms and then making up what they really mean or what they could mean.
Eh.
It's a fun game. Well, prosecute. Yeah. Well, this environmental protection will prosecute your ass to the fullest extent of the law. Now, say you were prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and you were sent to prison. Can you imagine telling your fellow inmates while you were in prison?
Yo, fish. Why
Yo,
you in here? T-Bone, what are you doing? I wonder why you're in here. Because I went to a town in Connecticut I wasn't supposed to. You know you're white, right? Yeah, I know. God, you stupid. Get over
yeah.
here. Pick up that soap.
Give me that cornbread.
I'm somebody's bitch. Anyway.
Isn't there a skit too or a cartoon where they're talking about stealing the or tearing the tag off the mattress and then getting sent to prison for that?
That was Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Okay,
That's
and they're all scared of him because he
well,
tears the tag off.
oh, I don't remember. No, it wasn't that. It was just whenever in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, he at one point hitches a ride with an escaped convict,
Mm-hmm.
and that was what he did. He's like got really angry, and I took a knife, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, and you know those mattresses, the tags on the mattresses says don't cut this off. I cut one off. Oh wow. Anyway.
That's funny. Okay. Of course, the town is said to be haunted. Before the founders arrived in 1747, the land was originally occupied by the Mohawk Nation and was treated as sacred ground. And of course, when Indians treat things as sacred ground, it's always leads to ghost stories
All right,
and so
hold
forth.
on. I'd just like to point out, as far as most Indians were concerned, pretty much all of the ground was sacred. I mean, yeah, they had their like burial spots or whatever, but I mean, seriously, I mean, especially like the nomadic tribes, the ones that would actually follow
Moved
their
it.
herds around and stuff. Like, as far as they're concerned, it was all sacred. It was all there. It's just like, you know, come on. It's like
It's
that's
just
why I'm
something
like,
to make it sound better.
I just, it's like anytime there's like any kind of land, and there was some tribe nearby, like, oh, that land was sacred. That is where that is where we would take shits, whatever. The sacred shits on the harvest moon.
True, their definition of sacred might be a little different than what.
I mean, I wonder if like the Choctaw Casino in Oklahoma is like, oh, this ground is sacred. It brings white man money.
Hell yeah, it does. Okay, it was, of course, it's also said to be cursed. And I'm going to give you a little brief synopsis of this curse because it's pretty lengthy, if you will.
Ooh.
Oh, Gideon Dudley purchased the land in 1747. Gideon and his family, consisting of a few brothers, brought a curse back with them, linked back to 16th century England. An ancestor of Gideon, Edmund Dudley, was beheaded in 1510 after a coup against King Henry VIII. Edmund's son and grandson were also executed. As the town developed, the curse was evident. It got dark at noon. The soil was unsuitable for most crops. However, the town did manage to house 26 families at its peak. These 26 families went through some shit. Sometime between 1759 and 1764, it's quite a long time ago, Nathaniel Carter left on a business trip. His wife and infant child were brutally murdered by Native Americans. He moved back to New York and was murdered soon after.
Was he on sacred ground in New York?
No, he was on the sacred ground in Connecticut, and then he moved to New York, and the curse followed him, and he was still murdered.
Okay.
Another person by the name of Abiel Dudley suffered from insanity and dementia. Gershon Hollister fell to his death while building a barn. William Tanner soon after went insane and claimed that a strange animal from the forest killed Gershon Hollister. Sarah Faye One was struck by lightning. Her husband, General Herman Swift, went mad. Mary Cheney, wife of presidential nominee Horace Greeley, committed suicide a week before the election.
Man, that is a big old fuck you, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, you're not paying attention to me enough. All you care about this election. Fuck you.
That's what.
And now, bitch. You know?
I mean, with all this crap going on, and it made absolutely no sense why a presidential nominee's wife would kill herself knowing that he could potentially be the president, other than what you just said.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's some spiteful people in this world. And, I would put it past, like
you
a really
spend all your time campaigning, and you promised this wouldn't be a full-time thing.
Yeah. Maybe he was going to try to make his side bitch into the first lady. I don't know. It was just it could have been he also just could have been a really big asshole. So
yeah, very true.
And then she's like, I'm going to save the country.
Well, the last residence to remain was John Patrick Brophy. His wife died of tuberculosis. His 2 children wandered off into the woods and never returned. John later followed. Their house was also burned to the ground by mysterious fire.
What year was that last one?
I'm unsure of the year. It's somewhere in between. I think it's in the 17. I really don't know.
Okay.
I thought I had the dates here, but I do not.
I was trying to figure out.
Just a list of all the things that happened to those families that were in that town. And just with it being such a small town for all this stuff to happen.
Sacred shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Dudleytown. Don't go there.
All right. So there for a second, I thought it was going to be this town that I'm pretty sure is in Connecticut, where like a dude like set up a house right next to it, like within walking distance in early, like in the early 20th century. It was a time when there was cars or whatever, and he worked in New York, and like he left for a while and he came back and his wife like lost her damn mind or something, and then like he had to try to drive her somewhere and she like died on the way there, and it's just the whole thing. I don't know if it's Dudley though, but then again, how many ghost towns are there in Connecticut? But
Yeah.
all right, so why? Here's my big question: why is it that the Connecticut version of the EPA has any say so? Did the government buy that land and just say this is private land? I mean, like this
Yeah.
this sounds like some Area 51 bullshit.
It's very, very weird because the people that own it, it's the Dark Entry Forest Incorporated. They've owned it since 1924. So not only do they control the forest, they control the valley within that, or that the forest that surrounds it.
And
The
then,
val-
but if you instead of just getting popped with a trespassing charge for going there, you can end up getting like prosecuted by 3 different agencies for various law breaking.
yeah, it's a very over the top, which leads to the conspiracy theories of like what you said. What are they protecting? What's really here?
All right, yeah, no, I'm on board with that. No, you tell me I can't go somewhere, I want to know why at least.
That,
At least
yeah,
try to be honest.
there's a bunch of YouTubers who try to sneak into the town, and they're doing what the YouTubers do, running with the cameras and look at me, I'm sneaking into Dudleytown and making it look like they're getting scared. Place looks creepy.
I'd be scared. I don't want to get prosecuted by 3 different agencies and tossed in some dark hole and forgotten.
Yeah, that's what would happen. All right. This one you may have heard of is called the Zone of Silence. And I
Ooh.
know as a parent, that would sound blissful.
Hmm.
A place to go where there is no noise. But this is probably not a good place for that. So, where is it? Well, it's located in a patch of desert just 50 kilometers across in the Mapimi, Mapimi, Mapimi Biosphere Reserve near their Bolson and Mapimi in Durango. Well, who lives there?
What?
It's in Mexico. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay. That'll explain why you didn't use freedom units. Okay.
Yeah. Mapimi, Mapimi Biosphere Reserve
Okay.
near the Bolson de Mapimi in Durango.
I got it now. I mean, earlier it just sounded like a bunch of words that you just threw together, and I thought you might be having a stroke or something. But it's nice
No,
to know that it's all actually a
it
thing.
may be a little slurred from the penis cola, but we're good. We're good.
Okay.
All right. Who lived there, you ask? Well, no one actually lives there. However, the local zoneros chase the legend and guide tourists around. Well, what is this place like? Well,
Wait. Hold on. What's a zonero?
it's zonero. It's the local person there that will give you tours of the place.
But oh, is this? But this is like some sort of dark tourism thing where you're not
Yes,
supposed to, kind of like a coyote or whatever.
correct. It's a they're locals that keep the conspiracy alive,
That seems like a good way to end up like dead in the middle of the desert with
or to make money. Yeah,
like naked and dead in the middle of the desert.
yeah. What is this place like? Well, it is an inhospitable desert and has been dubbed the Bermuda Triangle on land. And it is actually on the same parallel, the 27th parallel, just like the Bermuda Triangle. It was also an ancient seabed in a Tethys Ocean. There are no roads, only dirt tracks. There are claims of underground deposits of magnetite that interfere with radio waves and compass readings. In fact, 3 meteorites have hit within the zone of silence, one in 1938, another in 54, and again in 69. The 69 meteorite, called the Allende, I'm probably murdering that, Allende meteorite, a rare type as it is composed of the fundamental stuff of life. It had metals, carbons, hydrocarbons, amino acids, and water in this meteorite, which is very
Ooh.
rare. It is considered to be the most significant meteor to hit Earth in modern times. Here are some of the details from the witnesses, what they saw. This is what makes it crazy.
Okay.
Arriving at 1 a.m. on February 8th, 1969, in a pyrotechnic blitz.
69.
69. Sorry. In a pyrotechnic blitz, the Allende meteorite woke up the residents of Sabalos, closest city to the zone of silence. Some believing the end of the world had come and fell on their knees in prayer. 100 miles away in Chihuahua City, witnesses reported a magnificent blue and white streak arcing through the night sky. Under the assumption of widespread casualties, emergency crews were dispatched to Sabalos, but strangely, no one was injured, only stunned and shocked, particularly from the deafening impact that shattered windows all over the village. So a meteorite of that size coming down that fast and being that big only created no injuries, no nada.
Because they were in the middle of nowhere. How do you expect somebody to get hurt? Nobody
With
can be
that
there.
impact, it should have created more than just broken windows.
Mm, eh, eh.
It's iffy. It's starting to feed into conspiracy.
I mean, here's my thing on it. Like, with how like the Mexican government keeps doing like these weird alien hearings in their
Mm-hmm.
Congress and stuff.
Yeah, declassifying these documents.
Yeah, how come they ain't opening that spot up?
Mm-hmm.
I know
Well,
why.
I
I can
could
tell
say
you why.
why.
Because the cartels, they're probably growing super weed out there.
Oh
That's why
yeah.
they're, everybody's talking about these really how weed's like a lot more potent. It's because it's got alien fertilizer out of Mexico.
Okay. Whatever grows my grass, whatever helps grow my grass, I'm good for it. But here's another oddity about this. Not only is it rare for a meteorite to hit in the same place, but three meteorites hit this place, and the odds of a meteorite hitting the Earth is of this size is every 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So three of them of a certain size hit the same area in a matter of, when I say 10 years, or is it 38, 54, 69? So about roughly 30 years, three of them hit in the same place instead of one every 1,000 years. You had three in 30 years.
So these must be those aliens in Mexico that everybody's worried about. Keep them aliens in Mexico.
Oh man, I teed that one up for you good,
Yeah,
and
you
you
did.
smacked that one out of the park. Oh, that was a good one. Good one. Good one. I'll write that one down. Darrell 1, Jason 0. Okay, got it. Also, on July 1970, the U.S. Air Force sent a rocket out of Utah. It reached the upper atmosphere and should have come down in New Mexico. Instead, it crashed right in the middle of the zone of silence. This rocket was carrying cobalt, an isotope used in salted bombs. This would contaminate large areas of land. This crash and the way it was a hush-hush cleanup operation gave birth to the conspiracy of the zone of silence. The way they did this cleanup, if I remember right, is they brought in all these railroad tracks. They came in, they cleaned it up real quick, and got the hell out of there. I mean, it was, for something that massive of a cleanup, they were out of there in days.
All right, so it's a very magnetic chunk of Earth
Mm-hmm.
with aliens.
Yeah,
That keep
absolutely.
trying that keep trying to sneak over our border, and that's why we need to build a wall to keep these magnetic aliens,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
taking my job. Okay.
So once again, why should you stay away? Well, there have been lots of stories of aliens and UFPs.
UAPs.
UAPs. I
There
thought
you
it
go.
was
It's
unidentified
unidentified aerial phenomena. That's
aerial
what they.
phenomenon. So what the fuck was that thing where the
It's
F was for?
UFOs were what we called them before, but
Flying
now they're
phenomenons. That's
like they rebranded it because that's the
right.
cool thing to do now.
No, I was trying to do a callback to our earlier podcast, and I completely screwed that up. But
Yeah, you fucked it
I
up.
will refer to them as UFPs. So anyway,
Unidentified flying phenomena.
yep. Okay.
Okay.
But of these sightings, they see aliens and UFPs, UFAPs, UFOs, whatever. But they also include tall, blonde beings.
Lemurians.
Can you fucking say Lemurians?
They're Lemurians. Those people from that pretend island that never existed.
You know,
But maybe, just maybe, that instead of them being from Lemuria, they didn't want the INS picking them up because it crossed the border and got to Mount
mm-hmm,
Shasta,
mm-hmm.
and so they're like, "Yeah, I'm from Lemuria. Yes,
It's
hola."
I've never heard of Lemire before, and then the last several weeks I've heard it everywhere. Not only
God,
from you in our podcast. I was watching the new King Kong movie, and that guy mentions it in the King Kong movie.
yeah.
I'm like, wow.
God, I wish I could remember the name of I mean, because it was like the stupid names of the Lemurians from Mount Shasta. I can't remember them, but that's hilarious.
Oh, and they had the Mont Poo Poo and
Yeah, I was like, yeah, something dumb. It's like Moncha, Cha Cha, and then my name is Polly.
Kate.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Except in this case, it'd be like, you know, our parents' names are like Limu, Bibu, and this is my daughter,
Frank.
Juanita, because they're Mexico.
Oh, oh.
Tall, blonde, giant, tall, blonde Mexicans.
I do find it weird that there is a lot of tall blonde uh, people, or not tall blonde people, but when people start saying aliens, they're saying tall blonde.
I think maybe it's just, like,
It's already in
I
their
don't know.
head.
Maybe like people in outer space are really huge racists. They just,
Maybe
like,
they got
they're
higher quality shampoo.
they're like, maybe whenever they say Aryan nation, they were always trying to say alien nation. And they just couldn't get the accent right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I mean, being that like all my kids are blonde hair, blue eyed, but none of them are giant and tall. So, I'm fairly certain they're only partially aliens.
What do you think it when you? I don't know. When you think of alien, the thing you normally think of is a big green guy with big eyes and a big round, weird looking head.
Well, I mean, honestly, who do you want? Who do you want sticking a metal pole up your ass? You want some weird bald dude with giant eyeballs, or do you want a big, tall blonde with big boobies?
I don't know. How
I
rich
mean,
is he?
one of them will feel like a medical examination, and the other one will feel like a trip to Bangkok. I thought I'd have to go to Amsterdam for this. Oh, you know,
Of course, since it's compared to the Bermuda Triangle, of course, people get lost there. None of their compasses work. They get lost. Claims of plant mutations and weird animal life. The
super
tailless,
weed,
yeah,
super weed.
superweed, yeah.
Yeah,
Some of the what's a flower on the cactus?
prickly
The
pear.
peyote.
Oh, peyote. Oh, yeah.
What that would be like there. Holy crap! Anyway, the tailless Mapimi tortoise, foot-long centipedes with purple heads and tails, albino reptiles and snakes are all residents, and insects grow 2 to 3 times the normal size there. Pretty creepy shit.
And why don't I want to go there?
Why don't you want to? Well, albino reptiles and snakes.
I mean, just, wearing some good like hiking boots or whatever. I mean, like seriously, like it's like what would you do for a big tall blonde? So, what would you do for a big tall blonde?
Well, that guy on Game of Thrones really wanted a big, tall blonde. What do you want to do? Mount her and make big, giant baby children? Oh, that was a very great show.
This, I mean, if just keep an eye out on this one. If a bunch of guys come back with broken pelvises, then you have something to try to consider. It's like, yes, he came back with a crushed pelvis and a really big smile on his face.
Worth it? I'll leave that up to you. Well, so that will do it for this week's episode. Tune in next week when Darrell takes us through security, and of course, after another cavity search, to another topic that made us say, "Wait, what?"
I do feel like I pulled my episodes out of my ass, so I guess it works out.
Well, until then, man, we'll see y'all guys later.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Wait What? We really appreciate it. Remember that we post episodes every Tuesday, and we'll throw an extra one on Fridays if we feel like it. Don't count on it. You never know. We would love for you to follow and rate us, review us, anything on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Pandora, or just wherever else you listen to the podcast at. If you're watching this on YouTube, throw us a comment, subscribe, notification bell, do all the things that YouTube likes for you to do so that, makes other people actually possibly find our videos. You can also stalk us on Facebook, X, or TikTok. Just search for the handle Waywut Podcast, Waywut Podcast. Once again, thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit, and join us next time. We'll get you to say, wait, what?